Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. This post from the 10th of March 2011 looks back on the terrible experience of trying to get Ben ready for school when he was catapulting into anorexia, and also the various texts and other communication I get from him or from school as the day progressed. And so this is called Casualties of the Eating Disorder Rage. This post would really more accurately be called the day that the stress really got to me, and the last straw that broke not the camel's back, but broke the dinner service on the kitchen floor. It's about the stresses of being a parent, trying to deal with your teen when they've got an eating disorder. Every morning I drive Ben to the bus stop to catch the bus to school. These days, I'm pleased to say, it's a relatively normal experience, like most families trying to get their child to school. But back in the bad old days of high anorexia, it used to be an altogether different experience. 12 months ago, Ben dreaded going to school. He dreaded everything to do with school, including being amongst his peers. Virtually every morning was a battle to get him to the bus, and virtually every morning he'd explode into a massive eating disorder rage, which meant verbal abuse on the way to the bus stop, usually lots of tears, and finally the violent slamming of the passenger door as the incredibly distressed 16-year-old Ben skulked off down the hill to the bus stop. My car door has never recovered. Getting teenagers ready for school is a nightmare at the best of times, but getting an anorexic teenager ready for school is a million times worse. Every single morning was a battle. Not your usual teenage battle, but something altogether worse and much, much darker. Even before we left the house, we'd have screaming matches, and I'd invariably drive back home in tears, unable to cope with the morning ahead, and definitely unable to work. Within an hour or so, I'd get the first text. Sometimes it would be on my mobile. Other times it would be one of those sinister robotic voices you get when voice texts come through on the landline. I used to dread the phone ringing, and the voice robotically saying, "You have received a text from blah 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 blah. Voice text received on the blah blah date," by which time my levels of dread were rising rapidly, followed by the robotic text along the lines of, "I can't go on like this," or similar. Here's what happened on Monday, the 8th of March 2010, almost 1 year ago to the day. The following is taken from my journal, which I made at the time. Crisis day, last day at school, and the day I crashed the dinner plates on the kitchen floor. The tension was so much after getting 22 distressing texts and 2 phone calls from Ben at school, being faced with the packed lunch I'd given him. We'd given up on school dinners after he'd walked out of the dining hall, unable to make the choice of what to eat, followed by the prospect of a burger for the evening meal. Too many carbs. I also discovered that although Ben had told me that he'd put on weight at the last CAMS session, he had actually put on no weight at all. Ben's first text: "I can't eat the bagel and have a burger tonight." Me: "Eat it. CAMS told me today you put on no weight last week." Ben: "I can't do it." My reply: "Eat it." Ben: "No, there's way too much and the chicken's really fatty." Me. Then I'll call Dad. Ben. It's too much. Me. It's what you asked for. Eat it. Ben. It's simple. If you want me to eat lunch, don't give me something that stresses me out. Me. Eat it. Ben. Too big and too late now. I didn't reply. Ben. I can't stand this. Me. Go to the medical centre. Ask if I can get you. The medical centre was an agreed bolt hole for Ben to escape to, although he often texted me from the boys' toilets rather than brave the medical centre. Ben. I'm in medical. Me. Ask if I can get you. Ben. What am I going to do? I've had the chicken things and pudding, yet I haven't quite had enough of it, yet it's too late to have anything, yet I'm having a big tea tonight, so I really have had enough. Me. Eat bagel. You said you put weight on Friday and you hadn't. Ben. Bagel's too much, and like I said, it's too late. Me. Well, I didn't reply. Ben. And I've had the chicken and pudding. Me. No reply. Ben. I hate this feeling. Me. Talk to the medical staff. See if I can come and get you. Ben. What's happening then? Me. Talk to the medical staff. Ben. Have. Me. Did they say you could go home? I need them to okay it for you to go home. Ben. Nothing's been said, and that frigging bagel's ruined my day more than it was already. I didn't reply. Ben. Fuck it! I can't stand this. Too confusing. Have I had enough? Have I done enough? Should I go home? Am I doing enough for it? Is tea too big? Was my lunch too big? Why am I doing nothing? Is it too late to eat? Was what I had for lunch actually the right amount? Should I eat more? Why do people distance me? Will I ever be normal? Me. I didn't reply because my stress levels were mounting up. And that's when I smashed the first dinner plate on the kitchen floor to try and get rid of the tension. Another text from Ben. If you're not coming, then I'm going to yoga. Ben used to go to yoga after school, one of the many exercises he did after school at the time, which included the running club. Me. Okay, but only if you promise to be nice to me. Ben, later towards the end of the school day. To be honest, I don't know or care what's right or wrong anymore. Me. I'm coming now. Be in the car park at 4:15. Ben. No. Plus 2 phone calls along similar lines. This was followed by an evening of ultra distress as he fell apart when faced with the ciabatta he was supposed to have with his burger. Eventually he calmed down, and I decided to take him out of school for the time being. How things have changed since then, thank God. He's like a different boy. Well, he is a different boy. The car door is never slammed, and, touch wood, the only texts and phone calls I get from him are really nice ones, normal ones. That's the end of that reading. Yeah, that was the day when just the stress levels just got too much for me because, again, remember, I was on my own. Ben's dad was working away at the time and only home at weekends. And I remember just taking the dinner service and dropping it on the floor in the kitchen and watching it smash to smithereens. And then I drop another part of the dinner service, first the plates, then the bowls, and I was just sitting there in the corner surrounded by smithereens of crockery, sharp shards of crockery, and bawling my eyes out. It was a very difficult day when my stress levels just got too much, but as happened on countless occasions, I knew that once I'd calmed down, I would have to knuckle down and pick myself up, brush myself down and get on with things and carry on trying to help Ben through his anorexia, because me breaking down like this, fortunately in private, no one actually saw it, but it wasn't helpful. But sometimes I just had to get it out of my system, as you can imagine. So yeah, thanks for listening. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.